Make an impression today on Beads, Baubles, and Jewels. Tammy Hanneman of Fire Mountain Gems and Beads is here with me now to show me some examples of how to use flowers and briolettes.
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's so nice to be here too with you.
Thank you.
What are we going to do?
We're going to work with briolettes today as the base of this flower design.
It's one of my favorite cuts of gemstones because they have so much sparkle with all the dimension.
It's just a beautiful stone. Just the cut and the design of them, the teardrop shape. They're a lot of fun to work with.
Okay.
They do have a top drilled hole.
Okay.
And I'm going to just, on a 30-inch length piece of 28 gauge wire, it's more of a craft wire than a beading wire, so it's a little different than a traditional stringing project.
A little stronger.
Yeah, exactly. But yet fine enough that you can do more of a sewing motion with it, which is a really great way to use this wire. Okay. I'm going to gather them to the center of the wire, and then in a crisscross, I'm going to bring them down together so that they form something of a flower-like shape.
Oh, yeah.
See how the 5 of them come together?
Exactly.
And then I'm just going to twist the wire so that it holds those petals into position so that I don't lose that flower-like shape.
Right. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And you could do it a little bit tighter. You want to have a little bit of motion in there, but you want to make sure they're secure.
Right.
Okay. And then I'm going to move over to this one. What I'd like to do is secure this shape because it's still a little bit wobbly. I like to give it a little bit of stability. And what I do is take this wire and take one of them and go up the center.
Okay.
So that it's above, and then I have one below.
So you're sort of weaving it within itself.
Yeah, just to start it.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take the lower wire and add this loop cluster finding, which is a really nice finding. It gives the piece stability, and it also later on serves a greater purpose.
Kind of looks like a flower itself anyway.
It does. It really works to really help hold this piece together and help build the design. So I'm just going to add that onto the bottom of my piece, and then in a sewing-like motion, what I like to do is bring the wire from below, up over the finding, and then back down the center.
So it is sort of like sewing.
It really is. And you're just
doing another loop back and forth.
I'm just going to go around, all the way around, one time around from below, and then this wire will then give it the other side where I'm going to go up down from above.
Okay.
So I'm really securing that onto the finding.
Right.
So I'm just going to go down and then back up.
And the finding will just be secure right underneath.
Exactly.
All of your briolettes.
Right. It'll be just like this one where we have it, where it's really just right in place. And see, it's not moving anymore. It's got a lot more stability to it. And now it's time to add the leaves.
Oh, good. Fun part.
Just start dressing it up. We start with a long piece of wire, just so you don't have to add wire. But of course, if you run out, you certainly can.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to I'll work with the shorter one. I'm going to just take these wires, which are now down from below, and I'm going to pick up a leaf. Thread that onto the wire. Oops. Get that through that hole there.
There you go.
Just a leaf bead. And I'm going to put that into position underneath the briolettes as if it were a leaf beneath the flower.
Yeah.
And then same motion, just going down from the top down to below.
Just weaving them on even more.
Just weaving them on, just like that.
Oh, look at that.
See how it just
It's already starting to take shape.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then you can go around just one time, or you can go around twice.
Look at even the dimension in the glass there, how it has all the etching.
Aren't
Perfect.
they cool?
Yes, so detailed.
Yeah.
They are cool.
So then this one here has all of the leaves in place, and then this one I did
Gorgeous.
2 layers. I went
Just
around.
the color combination.
Thank
Beautiful.
you. And almost real.
Yes.
And then to add a little bit more of a flower-like dimension to it, I take just a head pin with a nice little ball detail on the end. That's a 2mm ball end. You can use a 3mm. Just adds another little bit of sparkle to it. I'm just going to add a crystal onto the head pin.
So you're making a stamen, basically.
There you go. Exactly. So I have that, and I'm just going to insert that down through the center. You can see now why the center of that finding being so large really helps accommodate all the wire that you're doing.
Now, with the lower level of the leaves, I may have cut you off when you're trying to say that. Do you just keep adding more underneath to get the second layers?
Yes, absolutely. And that's where it helps to have a lot of that wire.
Right.
You can use both lengths of the wire that you have left and just keep adding them in as many layers as you like.
Great.
And then I'm just going to take that head pin, pull it down, and then on the back, you just see how it's getting kind of
Right.
nice amount of wire that you can work around. You just take your head pin and bend it in and around and wrap it
that's it.
around the finding, just
Perfect.
securing it in place. Then you want to trim the wire off and just use like a chain nose plier and compress any cut ends so
Okay.
that you don't have anything sharp sticking out.
That's a good idea.
Okay, and then once you've gotten all of that done, you have something that looks like this.
Beautiful.
And see, on this one I use 3. If you have room and you want to add more, you can add more. You can add different colors. You don't have to stay with the blues.
Right.
You can
And-
add pinks and
Yeah.
yellow. And
And then you can just attach it to whatever you'd like to attach it. And here, what are you using?
I'm just going to stitch this on with thread and needle. And I'm just going to stitch, again, using that finding. That metal base really helps you be able to stabilize it onto your velvet ribbon.
Right.
And then to finish the ribbon, I like to add additional crystals. I'll use a fabric glue, and I'll just put that on the back of the crystals and put them onto the ribbon in any pattern. There's really no
Yeah.
rhyme or reason. And then to finish the ribbon, I like to add a little bit of glue onto this nice ribbon end finding. Put a little bit of glue into the clamp. And this also has teeth on it, which helps secure
helps
to
to
the ribbon.
secure.
And I'll just add that on there.
Perfect.
Compress the finding with my pliers, add a lobster clasp, and a
And
jump
that's it.
ring.
Now, you did bring a finished product. Look at how gorgeous that looks.
Thank you.
And you can see here, Tammy has also brought some examples of some other ways that you can utilize the leaves and the briolettes, and then also just hanging the briolettes on a chain.
Off some chain.
That's gorgeous. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Tammy. I
you.
really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Well, the clasps are just as interesting as the necklace. Next on our tip with Katie Hacker.